the technical team lead should know that he or she has a backup. And if something fails or he or she is tired or burnt out, there's always someone that's going to step in and help with the situation. I think this is... Hello everyone and welcome back to HackCast. This is Season 3, Episode 9, and we are back again. Myself, Rado.
I'm Kamen.
And Ivo.
Yeah, and this time we're going to talk about the role of a technical team lead in HackSoft and the details around that. But before we go into the topic.
Before we go into the topic, I have to tell you again about our goal, which is to reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And when we do that, we're going to give away this wonderful DAS Keyboard 6.
It's really good.
We're going to give away this exact copy. So when you stop seeing it on the HackCast, it means we've reached our goal.
Yeah, we will record a very special video where we pick one of you and we will send one of you this beautiful keyboard. Yeah, so make sure to subscribe in order to participate for this keyboard.
And while you're subscribing and liking the videos, you can ask questions whenever you find a comment area. It can be YouTube, Twitter, whatever you decide. Because our last episode, basically the next episode of Season 3, it's going to be a Q&A. And we are going to answer all of your questions. So if you feel like asking a question, just ask it anywhere you spot it.
Yeah, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter.
Even Facebook.
Even Facebook, yeah. We will gather all questions and we will answer them. I think the ending of Season 2 was pretty good. We had like questions for 1 hour content, so we're aiming for the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And for this episode, we're aiming for around 30 minutes because last one, it was a full hour, almost like a full hour. So this time we're aiming for 30 minutes. So what's the topic?
The topic is, what's the role of the technical team lead in HackSoft?
Yeah.
Who's going to start about the technical team lead?
This is an interesting topic because I think it's a specific position for HackSoft. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have technical team leads in our companies too, but the way we define technical team lead at HackSoft is a bit specific because this is the main person that's leading a team working closely with a client, and it's really, really important. We were discussing this in the previous episodes of this season that when we start a project or when we start working with new clients, the most important thing is to establish communication and to have a technical team lead leading this communication and figuring things out. So this role is pretty important for us.
Yeah, that's right. And I feel that when the company is a bit smaller, some people fill in a lot more roles in a single specification, if I can say so.
Yeah.
So a technical team lead for us is different than a technical team lead for a much larger company.
For sure.
And
let's talk about responsibilities. Like, what are the responsibilities for this particular role? And perhaps we can start with, I can say it's the most important one. It's not that the other things are not important, but this is quite important because we are working with clients, and working with clients requires quite a lot of communication. We talked about this proactive communication, figuring things out, helping the client with features, helping the client with priorities, managing expectations for the client, and also managing expectations for the team. So one of the first responsibilities for a technical team lead on our end is to be able to communicate with the client and convey this communication also back to the team. And this is really, really important, and it's a skill that takes time to learn.
Sure. It's interesting. We are calling it technical team lead, but the most important thing for the technical team lead is not really technical, it's communication, which proves that communication is probably the most important thing. Whatever you're doing, is just communication is the key.
Yeah.
And the technical team lead is doing the communication with the client and internally with the team, manage expectations, helping the client actually understand what his needs are.
Yeah.
That's really important. Understanding the client and explaining what you understand from the client to the technical team.
And also helping the client to get to the actual goal with the best resources and making the best decisions. Because sometimes the client has a rather vague idea of what they want to achieve. So the technical team lead puts the technical into that and perceives the task from a technical standpoint, and gives another look at the brainstorming session, and gives a lot of value.
Yeah.
I've heard from some of our clients that our technical team lead is like a CTO to
Sometimes, yes.
CTO as a service,
Yeah.
which is basically leading communication, taking technical decisions, doing research whenever it's needed, and actually helping the client understand what the technical needs are.
And we had a really good saying and explanation about what we do. Clients tend to generate chaos, and we tend to take this chaos and order it and produce software as a result of this. And the first step in order to order this chaos generated by the client, which is specifications, the vague ideas about what we want to achieve, the roadmap, the goals, the business goals, is establishing a good form of communication in a proper channel, like for example Slack, and making sure everything is going according to plan, and there is a good communication rhythm established. So this is the very first thing about the technical team lead. You have to communicate well with the client, and you have to communicate well within the team, and that's why we're still developing something that's called Client Communication Playbook, which is basically a set of guidelines for good ideas and good patterns for how to structure your communication, what to look for. And basically it's a framework that if you have no previous experience, you can start gaining relevant experience by following this framework. And I think it's so far it's working really well for our team leads. And that's the first thing. And of course, if it's only communication, then it's not going to be a technical team lead. So the technical team lead should also be technical, meaning usually those guys and girls are also senior engineers on our end, and they are well suited to to make technical decisions. Figure out based on the requirements what to do from a technical point of view.
Yeah, and also give the client some suggestions so the client can choose what best fits the business case.
Yeah.
And that's why we are calling it technical team lead. It's not just a team lead, because in many companies, the team lead is just a team lead, someone that is doing the management work, doing the communication, without actually understanding what is happening under the hood in terms of building software. So yeah, our teams have, all of them, they have technical team leads that are taking the technical decisions, but not in a way that it's just, okay, I decide to do this, let's do this. But the technical team lead should be able to listen to everyone in the team and help the team taking the actual technical decision. Yeah. Although sometimes it requires some more guidance and doing the final shot of let's say the technology we are going to use and the language framework, whatever we decide. Yeah.
I think this is twofold. Sometimes we have clients which are also technical, and we're working closely with VP of engineers and CTOs and senior engineers from the client side. And then we are actively participating in technical discussions and architectural discussions and giving our opinion and argumenting why we think this is the right way to do it. And I think over time, we learn to be quite pragmatic, because sometimes we can have technical discussions for months and months and months and nowhere gets done. And I think we've learned over time to be quite pragmatic and to actually go ahead and do proof of concepts, so we can show, hey, this is going to work and we're good to go. We can continue working, we can continue delivering. And I think part of making technical decisions is to be well aware of what tools are there, what kind of problems those tools are solving, and also to be able to make proof of concepts so we can validate ideas. I think this plays a big part and a big role of for the technical team lead, especially here at HackSoft. You have to create a lot of proof of concepts in order to prove a certain concept, because sometimes there are multiple ways of doing something, and in order to make the right decision, especially if the client is non-technical, like the client does not care, then it's up to us to make sure we are making good decisions and we are not locking ourselves in, or what was the phrase, painting ourselves into a corner or something like this, where we're going to struggle 6 months down the road. And I think over time we've learned to be quite pragmatic and to be able to make good technical decisions without over-engineering things, because it's quite easy, it turns out, to over-engineer something.
Absolutely.
You can over-engineer it and you can ship nothing for 6 months or even a year, because we're making this scalable.
Let's
It
put
will
some
scale.
microservices.
Yeah.
We're solving issues that we don't have.
Yeah, and keeping the team rhythm and doing the communication with the client often requires a decent amount of pushback.
Yeah.
For example, hey, client say, hey, there is new technology, let's try to use it. Or, hey, I have a great idea, let's stop everything that you're working on and focus on this great idea. And in order to basically reduce the chaos and keep the rhythm of the team, being a technical team lead requires this ability to push back on a lot of things. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it requires some additional effort.
Yeah.
But
sometimes this can lead straight to conflicts and confrontations. And we've had this experience with various clients where we push back and we try to be pragmatic, but the client is kind of thinking it as taking it from an ego point of view, and it's not working very well. So there's that. And when the client always has the final say, and sometimes all we need to do is to make sure that we've made our point, and we've communicated that this is a bad idea. But sometimes you have to commit to a bad idea, and 6 months down the road it will eventually turn out to be a bad idea, and then we'll make something better.
Just to mention here, this extremely rare case, by the way, the thing that you mentioned. We don't really want to be in a situation where we told you that it's not going to work. So I think we're kind of good with communicating our ideas and doing proof of concepts and telling people why something is not going to be great. So what you mentioned is happening really rarely.
I think clients that are viewing us more as partners and taking advantage of our expertise rarely force their opinions on us. We usually have a conversation with them. We put out our points forward, and then we evaluate everything and we make the best decision. I think those clients benefit most.
For sure. And as we discussed in the last episode about our vision, mission, and values, we kind of tend to first be pragmatic, and second, take into account the business point of view for the client. Because again, we can over-engineer things and we can work like forever without actually shipping something. But we tend to optimize for actually shipping something, which helps with the technical decisions. And I think this is pretty healthy, because after all, the outcome is important for the client more rather than let's pick the specific technology.
Yeah, and since the technical team lead is the main point of contact for the client and the one responsible for taking technical decisions, that means that the technical team lead is responsible for the overall quality of the software.
Yes.
And when I'm doing this technical team lead thing in our teams, I'm often testing things, often trying to break them, trying to find edge cases, acting like a quality assurance person in the project. Which is great when you have a dedicated QA in the team.
Yes.
And it helps a lot. But it's another thing that the technical team lead is doing.
Are you talking about the gap filling aspect of it?
Well, not only gap filling, because for me, gap filling is, let's say, hey, we have some front-end needs. For example, something needs to be fixed really urgently, or a new feature needs to be developed like kind of quickly. That's the gap filling to me. But asserting the overall quality, for example, every time something is going to production, when I'm the team lead, and if we don't have a quality assurance person in the team, often I find myself testing the whole new features end to end and the most critical parts in the system, just to be sure that what we're releasing is actually working.
Yeah, but to some people, this may sound like a single point of failure, like one person taking care of everything, but it's actually not. Because one of the things that a team lead does is talk to the team and sync with the entire team, and so the entire team makes the overall decision. It's not like one person is responsible for keeping the quality, developing the team, doing the business requirements, talking to the client. It's the whole team. Just this single person has the most experience with it and has the title of the team lead of this team, so has is the arbiter in an argument of a technical sort.
And bears the responsibility, for the client. This is the single point of contact and bears the responsibility. But again, as we are discussing, usually when we are bringing someone new into a technical team lead role, this person needs to go through the bottleneck phase, which is you're kind of responsible for everything because you forced yourself to be. And then you learn that this is not healthy and it's not working very well. And then you learn that as a leader, you have to rely on your team, make sure that you're delegating and communicating well to the team as well, and make sure you let the team do their job, because they will be more productive than you, because they're like 3, 4, 5, 6 people that you're taking care of, and they will be more productive than you. And if you set everything in the right way, it's going to be an extreme productivity boost for everyone. But if you try to become the bottleneck, it's going to be the opposite way. And the only way to learn it is to actually be the bottleneck from time to time, I think.
Yeah, I can agree. Yeah. So is it safe to say that the technical team lead is a full stack developer that's good at communication and understand infrastructure and quality assurance?
Yeah, a senior developer with experience, aiming at communicating with the client and the team, and pushing, trying to understand the need not to become the bottleneck. This is extremely important, because then you can rely on your team and you can actually enable your team to ship. And this is what makes for productive teams. And we're going to talk about career development, but for me, the technical team lead, the way I picture it in my head, is like he or she is doing the orchestration of everything. This is the key person that if you put it if this person works with the team and the client in the right way, everything will flow. The work will get done, software will get shipped, and everyone is going to be happy. This is the key person that can enable the team and that can enable the client in order for software to get shipped. For me, this is the generalization of a technical team lead. And then you do what you need to do in order to make sure this rhythm is established and work is getting done.
I agree. There are a lot of good talks on YouTube and books that you can look at to get some knowledge, in-depth knowledge about what being a team lead is all about and what being a manager is all about. Although this word is the manager word is somewhat, I don't know.
I would not call it a manager. I think I would not call it a manager.
It has a different.
The technical team lead should care about his team or her team, and should also care about the client, and should balance this depending on the situation. Sometimes you have to make decisions that are oriented towards your team. Sometimes you have to make decisions that are oriented towards the client, and you have to be able to communicate why are you doing this.
Yes.
Like, let's now take some time, like a week, to pay some technical debt or research something because it's really important. Or let's slow down the pace because we've shipped a lot of things for the last 2 months and I'm starting to feel that the team is getting a bit tired. So let's slow down the pace and do something else, And sometimes it's, hey, the client has something really, really important and it's important to ship this. Let's not over-engineer it. Let's focus towards this single feature and let's get it done. And it's, for me, it's kind of, you can only learn this from experience, and you can only learn this from like real life scenarios. You can read about it. You can talk with people about it in order to prepare yourself about it, but you have to experience it firsthand in order to understand the trade-offs that you have to be doing every single day as a technical team lead.
Yeah, because you take responsibility for everything.
Yeah.
For everything, I think we are missing the team development part, the career development for the team members.
Yeah.
Because we talked about, managing the client, managing the team itself in terms of the quality of the work, writing code, looking at pull requests, things like this. But another responsibility for the technical team lead is to develop the team internally. Basically, the technical team lead knows all the people in the team, and he knows, let's say, how to give tasks to different people based on their knowledge, based on their different level. We're having like one-on-one meetings with the technical team leads, which
the technical team leads are having one-on-one meetings with the folks from their teams.
Yes, which is extremely important. Those are the meetings, or at least my point of view is that those are the meetings for the actual team members. They need to be more active there, ask questions, talk about different topics, make a career progression plan on something like, let's say, okay, for the next 6 months, we are going to give you more of a front-end task, for example, because you have the need to refresh your knowledge on these new technologies, things like that are extremely important for the career development of the team.
Yes.
It's safe to say that the engineers in the team have their own buddies, which is the technical team lead.
And it's through delegation, through giving specific tasks that you can develop those folks into the direction that you want and also they want. Mm-hmm. And those one-on-one meetings are quite essential. Ever since we started doing them, it felt like it was a really good decision and we were actually missing this. And it's also important to say that for at least for now, for HackSoft, since we are around 35, we're still a small company, every technical team lead also has a shadow. And this is not like the Jungian shadow or stuff like this, but rather one of us, it's usually, who's also talking every week with the technical team lead, making sure this technical team lead has the backup. Mm-hmm. If there are any issues with the clients, to help and resolve those issues with the clients. If there are any issues with the team, help and resolve those issues with the team. But basically, the technical team lead should know that he or she has the backup. And if something fails or he or she is tired or burnt out, there's always someone that's going to step in and help with the situation. And I think this is extremely important and healthy because especially when it comes to communicating with clients, sometimes one of us has to step in because things are getting out of control, and the technical team lead cannot like make decisions on behalf of the entire company, and then we have to step in and help with the situation and figure out how to address this properly.
This happens rarely, though. It's not.
Yeah, but it's important to know that there's someone to help you when this happens.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've got your back.
Otherwise, you will be acting more like
defensive.
You will be taking more defensive actions in order to avoid that, which may not always be for the best of the project. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And we've had conflicts with clients where clients are not making the best decisions for their projects, and we kind of want to push them in the other direction. Client comes in and says, let's rewrite everything in a brand new technology because I feel like it. No, why?
Let's discuss it first.
Yeah, let's first discuss it and see what do we want to achieve.
Okay, that's actually a rare case with rewriting the technology, but what the team lead is also doing is orchestrating the whole process of the software development.
Yes.
And adjusting it whenever the team changes, whenever the client changes the, let's say, the point of contact, or whenever he or she feels the need for changing the process. We have many situations like client is saying, let's switch to 2-week sprints, let's say, something like that. That totally doesn't make any sense in terms of we have a team, the team is working, we have our own pace, the pace is good, let's just keep it as it is. Or let's say we are now developing a brand new MVP for something. Let's stop this old rhythm that we had with the sprints, with the estimations or something like that, and just focus on delivering something for 3 weeks and see how it goes. Yep. So adjusting the overall process and keeping an eye on it is really important part of the team lead role.
Yeah. Or orchestration, as I said.
Orchestration, yeah.
Sounds like our team leads are superhuman.
Well,
and they are. They're pretty good. They're pretty smart people, pretty capable. Mm-hmm. But what's also important is that you should know, when you're a team lead, you should know when to ask for help.
Yeah.
You should know when to stop pushing yourself to the limits and when you need someone to just come and have a fresh look at things.
Yeah. It's extremely important. This again comes back to having a shadow and having someone for your backup. Like, you should be communicating whenever you feel something's odd. You should be communicating, even if it's not odd and it's just for the feeling for today. You should be communicating. And this is a pretty dynamic role, and it's pretty interesting role. And it's from project to project, the things that you need to do as a technical team lead are different. We have projects where you need to be acting more like a senior engineer and making a lot of decisions and technical decisions, and also writing code and making proof of concepts. And we have projects where you need to be pretty good at communication and orchestration and establishing proper rhythm and figuring out priorities for the features to be shipped. And of course, we have people that are kind of leaning towards the one and people kind of leaning towards the other. And the interesting part is that at HackSoft, we have projects for the full range of things that you can do as a technical team lead, which makes it pretty interesting.
That's true.
All right.
And we found last year a great book that has a great summary from my point of view.
How to become
an effective software engineering manager.
Yeah, something like this. It is a really, really good book. Yeah.
I feel it's a good book. It gives you the insights over how to manage yourself, your calendar, your to-do list, your everything. And then it gives you an overview of what taking care of a team looks like.
Yeah.
And then it gives you an overview of how to deal with when projects are hard, when clients are hard, when people are leaving, how to hire people, and so on and so forth. So I feel this is a great book.
Yes. It's a good recommendation.
Yeah, when I initially read this book, I was like, okay, another management book, and not everything resonated with me. But when we did this internal discussion of the book, chapter by chapter, it was really helpful to me, because a lot of people were resonating with different chapters and they understood the things there in a totally different way. And it was really helpful to me to have this conversation and discussion about the book.
Yeah.
So this is another great thing that we're doing.
Yeah, and also, I mean, there are plenty of materials. In Bulgaria, we have we have Hari, who's doing a podcast and also doing trainings for teams and team managers and team leads, and it's great. Shout out to Hari and his team. And also, we're kind of following some of Simon Sinek's philosophy around leadership and around playing the longer game, the infinite game, and caring about people, which also works really well for us, and it also resonates for us. And I think since you have a call in 5 minutes, we should be wrapping this episode. If someone's asking, okay, what is the first thing that I need to do if I want to become a technical team lead or even a team lead? My answer would be, as Kamen mentioned, you need to first very well and very properly organize yourself. Email, calendar, to-do list. You need to be on top of your tasks and on top of your time, because if you are not well organized, then it's going to be a overwhelming experience at first, and it can be quite overwhelming experience if you haven't learned to be organized. So this would be my suggestion.
And before that, of course, you need to be like a senior software developer.
You need to know what you're doing there.
Yeah, you need to know what you're doing and what your team is doing, because we've seen many situations where the lead is not technical, and it is like a kind of a strange experience
in software development, especially.
Yeah, you need to understand what your team is doing, and you need to be able to help them at almost any point.
Yes. All right, I think we can wrap.
Yeah, we can wrap this.
Can we wrap? No, we should not wrap today. This was HackSoft Season 3, Episode 9. We talked about the technical team lead role at HackSoft. It's still something that we are developing actively, and we're going to come back to this topic for sure in future seasons.
Promised.
Yeah. I already promised like 6 episodes. We are aiming for 8,000 subscribers, and once we get there, we will gift this keyboard. It's behind me. We will give to one of our subscribers. And also we are aiming to do a Q&A episode, for the last episode of season 3. So if you want to ask us a question, just go ahead on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you find us,
Whatever.
Twitter. Yeah, ask us a question. We will collect all questions and we will answer them. Again, the 3 of us. That's it. Thank you very much. Ivo has 3 minutes to the call.
Like, subscribe, and write a comment asking us a question.
Thank you, everyone.
Cheers.
Bye.